I actually remember walking into the courtroom and seeing Colin Ferguson sitting right there, and I was like, wow, damn. This case, I can't believe it. I was stunned.
What were your feelings?
I didn't want to be there. And then when I got selected for the foreman, jury foreman, I was like, are you kidding me? Me? So I was like, okay. Didn't have a clue what was waiting for me. And I just couldn't believe he's going to stand up and represent himself and to ask the questions that he was asking. And I honestly didn't know the magnitude of being a foreman. So that was weighing on me. And I tried to make sure I paid very close attention to the witnesses, all the information that was coming out, and make sure I can soak it all in, because we weren't allowed to take notes. So I had to soak everything in and try to remember what, when, where, and how. And just the weight of it was on my shoulders because I was the foreman. I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, are you really serious? You want to do this? You're setting yourself up for failure. It was cruel and hurtful for the witnesses to look you dead in the face at the person that shot you. And you can't reach out, because I know a lot of them wanted to reach out and really grab a hold of them, and they couldn't do it. So that was really torment. And that could probably mess with a lot of people later on. I had to sit through that trial, and he's just going back and forth with all these questions. But you shot me. There's nothing else to say. He actually hurt them more. He shot them, he killed them. Now he's hurting them mentally. Everybody just got up silent and walked out, and the courtroom was basically empty other than the news reporters.
And that message was what to him?
You're done. It's over. No more lights, no more cameras, no more speaking your will over to the situation that would happen. You're done. It's over. So you had your say. Now it's our time to just walk out. You got plenty of time to speak to yourself in the jail cell. Speak away.
Wow. And then tell me what happened inside the jury room.
Everybody was worried about the 10 hours, but we wanted to make sure that he got the right charge and not the lesser charges. So to me, that was justice for all the victims. And we wanted to make sure that all the victims got their justice. I remember saying, I don't think it's a racist charge because he shot multiple people, multiple races, ethnicities. He didn't really target one particular race. And then we kind of, that was one of the last things we voted on, and then we all agreed on the not guilty. I also remember when I started reading the not guilty charge, the people in the audience were like, they were ready to explode. And I don't think they really understood the charge, but we came up with a not guilty verdict on that part. But we could still feel, I felt the pressure. Being the foreman, I felt the pressure on my shoulders. And once the verdict was over, we was in the judge's chambers, and I just started bawling.
Because
it was over. I knew the pressure on me being a young black man convicting a black killer. The pressure was on me. I knew it from the start, but the weight on it, even the after effects. We wanted to make sure, which took the length of the 10 hours, we wanted to make sure that he got the right charge, which was the harshest charge, where he got basically life in prison. Watching him being handcuffed and being let out of the courtroom, and everybody just got up and started applauding. I believe it was a weight lifted off them because they were ready for it to be over with. And he was just on and on and on and on and on. He was just grandstanding, wanted his lights and camera time. And they saying, it's done, it's over with now. Please, bye. And they clapped and they applauded and watched them walked out. And it was actually a relief for me. It was over. I didn't have to sit there and listen to it anymore.
Difficult,
very difficult. Being a juror and somebody's life is in your hands, and you got to make a decision whether it's guilty, not guilty, death penalty. It weighs on you. He was guilty all the way, but I was glad I was there. Once again, just to make sure he got a fair shot.
I want to ask you, I don't know if you saw the sentencing, but in the sentencing he says, one day I will be forgotten. I'll go serve my time, I'll be forgotten. And then, I've posed this question to everybody I've interviewed. 30 years later, maybe he's forgotten. But what about this case is not forgotten and shouldn't be forgotten, in your opinion?
Well, that is a touchy topic because it has to do with gun violence. The guns, everybody's in uproar about the Second Amendment rights. Everybody is worried about politicians taking their guns away and all that stuff. What shouldn't be forgotten is that a man got on a mass transit train and just shot up 25 people. For what? Okay, he shot 25 people. What has he accomplished? But to take innocent people riding home from work, they did their daily job and they're coming home trying to relax. For a man just to open fire on a train like that, that's one thing that should not be forgotten. You can go off and talk about gun laws and gun rights and all that stuff, but this is what happened. And 6 people lost their life, and 19 other people are still dealing with physical wounds, mental wounds, 30 years later. We're at a worse place with guns. I mean, people are just shooting people at will. And it's easy. Everybody's saying that's where the capacity with the clips. Too many magazines with 15, 16, 17 clips. Why do you need that much? I'm not trying to put in a conversation that there shouldn't be, but too many wrong people are getting their hands on guns at a drop of a dime, and they're just shooting people left and right. You thought about a 9mm. Now you're talking about assault rifles. You're talking about people going into schools shooting little kids. That's sad. And the government needs to do something about it. What? I really don't know. This is a $1 trillion business. It will never be solved, in my opinion, because people are making money. The gun manufacturers are making money, and that's what it's all about. Are they pulling the trigger? No. Are the guns getting in the wrong hands? Yes. People with mental illness getting a hold of guns. There's a lot of anger in the United States, and people are taking their frustrations out on innocent people. And it's easier for them to take a gun, whether it be a handgun or assault rifle, and just start shooting people. Colin Ferguson is serving 315 years in prison, and I really never gave a thought about what he's doing. He had enough. He had his time behind the cameras and lights, and he had his opportunity to say, honestly, this is a perfect time for him if he comes to reality of what he did. He needs to get it right before God calls him home, because life is full circle. If you don't get it here, you will stand before the Almighty Judge. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes, because 315 years is small till eternity.